Welcome to Living Large Camping. We're Connor, Amelia, and Barkley, and this week we learn the difficulties of living in an old truck camper. We also make some necessary changes to the truck setup before heading back into the Colorado mountains. We hope you enjoy. Alright guys, it's about midnight and we are currently locked inside / out of our camper. Amelia's trying to unscrew the top deadbolt. I think so much dust from these dirty roads has gotten in there and jammed it up. So I had to climb out of our exit window, which thankfully we have, and hand her some tools. Well, I finally got it out. Had to come in here and try to rip through the deadbolt after unscrewing it from the inside. So all of a sudden that's going to get replaced next week. Fun stuff living in an old camper.
We're still here, flipping coins about what's to come. It starts getting cold and we don't know.
Well, good morning everybody. We are back in the Denver area for the night. Barkley has been dropped off at the vet. We'll pick him up later today. I just got the oil changed and the transfer case fluid changed in the truck. And now it's time to work on taking out the back seat. This is the 60-40 split bench seat, so we're gonna take out the larger side and leave the single passenger side on the left. That way we have more room for storage and just a little better way to organize what's in our back seat. But to do that, we have to clear out what's in the back of the truck, so let's do that now. Obviously, it has gotten to be a bit of a mess in here. I do love having the fridge in here, but if we take the back seat out, we can turn the fridge long ways, and I think that'll be much better. I have seen that the bolts on this back seat are a pain to break loose, so it could be a fun time trying to get it out. But we're gonna start that now, and then since we're over here, we're close to our storage unit, so we can drop the back seat off there. Let's get this going. And it should just be 4 bolts in the corners, so let's see if we can get those undone. All right, not too bad, but they do clip onto the back of the truck here, so I had to get it up and over those. But yeah, I think this is gonna give us so much more space. Good morning, everybody. We are here in Colorado Springs. We stayed with a friend last night, which was great because we got to do some laundry and let Barkley's meds wear off and let him have a good night's sleep. But we're all well rested this morning and it's time for me to head to Home Depot. I'm going to try to build a platform to replace the seat in the back of the truck. It's just pretty unlevel in the back seat now, and we want something flat for the fridge and our tools and just everything else that we keep in the back seat. So we're gonna head to Home Depot now, try to get that fixed. I think we're just gonna build it in the parking lot because I have my tools with me, and if we forget or need anything else, we can just run back in. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right, we got our platform and the legs. All I have is this hacksaw, so we are gonna use that to rip this board down to the correct length. Not the most ideal saw to work, but when it's all you have, it'll get the job done. All right, we got this in here, so now we just need to cut some legs and make it fit better. Sometimes the ground is the best sandpaper. So now we're gonna put a couple wood screws into this leg, and then we'll cut a few more, and that'll make it good enough till we can get back to our friend's house and patch it up a little bit better. All right, we have a number of legs on there right now, and this is good enough to at least get us home so we can keep working on it. So, quick little lunch while we work on reorganizing the back of the truck, finishing the platform, and organizing the camper again. Okay, so the platform is good enough, and we have the truck loaded back with all the gear in it, so let's take a look and see how it's changed. First things first, the fridge is now long ways, which means you can open it from the driving seat, open back this way, which is great. We have a water jug, our drink cooler, backup battery, tools and other dry goods, and then our clothes, another jug of water, table, and then that space is still open right now. So I think this setup is going to work so much better, but now it's time to replace the lock that broke on the back of the camper door. If you saw earlier in the video, we got trapped inside of our camper the other night. I had to open up the escape window, climb out, and then hand Amelia some tools and try to basically break into our camper. So we're gonna get that replaced real quick. Shouldn't take too long, so let's get at it now. Step one. And while obviously this is not a regular door, it does have a normal deadbolt, except for the fact that it needs to be a metal door deadbolt. So we found this one. It says for mobile home, which they have similar type doors, and this should be perfect. Let's just test to make sure this fits. Perfect. All right, so now we have the sleeve still in the door, and here's the deadbolt mounted. Slide the lock through on the outside. All right, so it looks like that's going to work. So let's go ahead and finish mounting it to the door. All right, well, that project was quick and easy. We probably would have been okay with just the lock, but Amelia likes the security of the deadbolt, which means I like it. So we went ahead and replaced that, and that project's done. All right, we've jumped forward a couple days because I have replaced the lock that you watched us just try to break into, and I wanted to kind of throw in some afterthoughts on the matter, because the more we sat down and talked about it, the worse it could have gotten, because we used that lock a lot. And what happened was, so this lock we usually use inside the camper, right? But whenever we tried to unlock it, it would only grab about that far, and we couldn't do anything to get the deadbolt back inside of the lock. I think it just had so much dirt and dust, and who knows how long that lock had been on this camper, because it is almost 20 years old. So I think just over time, it just wore out the insides of the lock. But a few things that could have been really bad is a lot of the times whenever we leave the camper, we just lock this deadbolt. And if we had done that, we would not have been able to get back in the camper, because even picking the lock wouldn't have allowed us to move that deadbolt because it was jammed in there. And if we had the camper popped up while we did that, we wouldn't have been able to move without risking breaking the top of the camper. So we would have had to cut into our door, which again, it's an old door and they don't make them anymore. B, we wouldn't have been able to drive because the camper was popped up, and there just wouldn't have been any way to get in without breaking a window or breaking the door or something along those lines. So thankfully we were inside when it happened. It was a little concerning and just kind of a very confusing moment when it did. So thankfully these campers have a huge emergency window on both sides, but either way, could have been a whole lot worse. Very glad we have it replaced and that we were able to get out and fix it in a pretty easy manner. Just wanted to throw those in there and let you know my thoughts afterwards.
Leather jacket, boot shades, and an automobile, like I saw you in a picture in a magazine.
Well, we found our campground for the next 2 nights. We are in an area called Badger Flats. It is just a little bit west of Divide, Colorado, and this is our spot here. So it is gonna rain for the next like 30 minutes or so. We're gonna get the camper popped up and enjoy this place.
Sounds good.
been a long day of projects and sitting for us, so we're gonna go take a nice long walk around this area and just kind of see what else is here, if anybody else. We passed a decent number of campers, but there's well over 100 sites here, so we're gonna go walk around and see some cool things.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy, or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Before you turn away, I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away. Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here. I know that I told you we're over, I swear that I'm sober, just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy.
So Amelia is making us some cocktails for tonight, and I'm heating up dinner. We are doing a 5-cheese ravioli with some leftover turkey to go in the sauce. Almost time to go in.
Would you like some dinner tonight?
Forget about signs and rules. Oh, the payment and the long road.
Back to camping.
Yeah. And you're always in such a rush. With your life playing from the stereo. Oh,
Almost done cleaning up. Those ravioli were delicious.
So good.
you get it but all alone. And you're always staring at your phone.
All right, guys. Well, since we are full and happy, it is time to get a little bit of work done.
Yeah, so I'm usually editing whatever next video is coming out. This one is Idaho, which we're really excited to show you guys. And while I'm doing that, Connor is usually looking up campsites. So all of the places you've seen us stay, it's thanks to this guy behind the camera.
Well, it's very fun to look at, and it's a lot of route planning and trying to figure out when to try to get somewhere and the best places to stay so we can see everything we want to while we're there. So one thing that we found to be pretty important with this lifestyle of bouncing around so much is to always have a number of alternative routes planned, just in case you get in the car and realize you don't want to drive that far, or you get there and it's not what you wanted it to be. So I think that's been important, and I think it's worked pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a few places we thought were going to work out, and we went to them and they just weren't it. So we just kind of drove a little further and found an even better spot. Being flexible is huge.
But we're going to stay here for 2 nights so we can get some work done and post a video for y'all on Sunday.
Hope you guys enjoy it.
Hurry now, 'cause I can't wait. Let's put on our anthem. We'll be singing all night long. Oh, baby, time will be gone forever. Never in our lifetime will you see us back here again. So come before it's too late. Hurry now, 'cause I can't wait. Let's put on our anthem. We'll be singing all night long, all night long.
it's supposed to get down to about 40 tonight, so going to bed with a couple extra layers on, at least to start. And we're gonna do that, go on to bed, and we'll see y'all in the morning.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the
Breakfast time. I think we're gonna make some spinach and egg white breakfast tacos, maybe some peppers in it, and then a little bit of guac salsa on top. So let's get that fired up.
hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the
Ready.
as willows align, we lose track of time, head up high, now we climb.
Cheers.
Looks delicious.
Easy we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond
Come on.
bigger scale, the world in hands as we go. I wouldn't want it any other way, no. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes,
That's a tired boy.
He's content.
agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy.
Well, we just went for a nice 2-mile walk, and now it's time for some liquid IV.
All right, so we're making another big salad for dinner tonight. I'm gonna chop up this leftover chicken, and Amelia is making the salad outside right now.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just
All right, so chicken is heated up, and we finally got more of our favorite salad mix. It's got edamame, cranberries, cashews, and sunflower seeds on it. So we are excited to have that back in our salads. But it looks great, and this is going to be a good dinner.
on tight. I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. Ooh, we are dreamers of the shore.
Good morning, everybody. We are just about done here with this spot, and we're gonna get everything packed up and I think make our way over towards the Aspen area. But that's gonna do it for this week's video, I think. Some upgrades on the truck. I think removing the back seat was very necessary, and then obviously replacing the door lock because we got locked inside of our camper. But either way, we got all those things fixed and we got a couple nights here in this great spot. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and leave us a comment. Let us know your favorite parts of it. Let us know what you want to see more of, if it's cooking, more camping setup, type stuff like that. We obviously like to take your suggestions into account.
Yeah, it definitely helps us make, a little bit better videos.
So we'll pick you back up whenever we get to the next spot tonight for the next video. If you're still here at the end of this one, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let us know that you're liking this content. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Thanks.
Fell between the phone, pulling the stitches. Time to let go. So call